Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, Keltick the Casual, and today we are back with another Smite guide. Today we will be covering how I have been both playing and building Ao Kuang, the dragon guy. Now, with the dominance of the pressure meta, Ao Kuang certainly isn't as popular as he was once upon a time, but with the current build and start that I have been using in Conquest and Clash, I feel like we can actually make him kind of viable again, and it's really exciting because this character has always been one of my favorite things to play in Smite. But before we talk about all that nonsense, let's first cover his abilities just in case you do not know what this character likes to do. So Ao Kuang's passive is he has his little magic sword, right, and has 3 charges in this sword. If Ao Kuang has mana, then it increases spell power. If Ao Kuang does not have any mana, then these charges are used to cast abilities. So as long as you have some stuff inside your little sword on the icon there, you can always cast abilities. Now moving into the core abilities, Ao Kuang's first ability is a teleport, so he blinks forward and then leaves behind a watery illusion of himself. Ao Kuang can then hit 1 again to detonate this shadow cloud, which does damage in an area. Do note that Ao Kuang is one of those characters that gets to use stealth, and if the blink on the 1 wasn't enough, he also is stealthed after, so wherever he decides to blink 2, you won't be able to see him. Ao Kuang's second ability, he summons 6 dragons, okay? And then every single time he uses his third ability or he auto-attacks someone, one of these 6 dragons leaves and attacks whatever you were hitting. So if you hit 3 people with your third ability, 3 dragons are going to go out, so on and so forth, simple math. But you can also take all remaining dragons at any point in time and throw them in a line. If this line hits, it does damage and slows the victim. Ao Kuang's third ability is the simple cone attack. This cone attack hits hard as hell, and with proper scaling, it hits even harder. This is like your bread and butter as Ao Kuang. You want to get as many of those third abilities out as possible, and as I mentioned like 30 seconds ago, if your 2 is active, then you also summon forth a dragon that goes out and attacks as well. Now, speaking of dragons, let's talk about Ao Kuang's ultimate. So, Ao Kuang, he has an execute of an ultimate. So whenever you're below 35% health, you're in trouble around this guy. So, he's going to get you to below 30% health, he's going to activate his ultimate, and then he's going to grab you. Then he's going to whisper mean things in your ear, then he's going to lift you up and execute you. This execute cannot be saved by Capriol because you know it's an execute, but then he also gets to fly away and do damage in a circle on the ground. So if he gets the execute off, he can also have a really strong re-engage tool. God bless. Well, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Let's move on to the build. The build I have been using reflects Ao Kuang's job in the game. Ao Kuang's job is to dive the living shit out of the backline and eliminate a prime target. So you're diving the hunter, you're diving the burst mage, and you are getting them the hell out of your life. There's the build, let's talk about it. You're starting off with the power boots because you want the extra penetration. The 10 pen that these boots give is very awesome for Ao Kuang. Then you're going to move right into Spirit Desolation because the early power as well as the early penetration makes it so that your damage is pretty much going to be true damage until the tanks and shit decide they want to start building more defense. Then I build Poly because the extra burst on an auto attack, you can't go wrong with it. Then I go Soul Reaver and Ethereal Staff because you are again wanting to pretty much one-shot a squishy person. Between Soul Reaver and Ethereal Staff, you are going to be dealing 15% of their health in a second. This is before the actual ability damage, so if you go in on someone, pop your dragons, use your 3, auto attack to trigger the poly, they are pretty much dead. And if they're not, they're sure as shit in the execute threshold, and then you can pick them up in the air and give them a ride. So let's take a second to talk about Conquest specifically. Whenever I'm playing Ao Kuang in Conquest, I am starting with Soulstone Bumbas, and I am telling my mid laner that we will not have pressure and to start at a buff. If you want to be nice, you could start at their red buff, it'll help your clear. But if you're greedy like me, you'll tell them to start at speed buff so you don't get it invaded over and over again. So let's recap. Be safe, wait for the late game, build your items, farm efficiently, and use that execute because it's pretty much the thing you're relying on early game. You aren't going to have a lot of damage until your items come online. I can't stress that enough. A lot of times the main mistake that Ao Kuang players make is they dive too early. You can dive the living shit late game, but until you have your items online, it's going to be near impossible for you to do anything. So farm. That's all the time I have for this video. If you guys enjoyed watching today, leave a like on the video. If you want to see more from me, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, this is Keltick the Casual, signing off.